National Nursing Home Week begins on Mother's Day and is filled with special events. May is the perfect month to come visit before our services are needed. Palm Garden Rehab is located on the corner of 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
On the first and third Wednesday mornings of each month at 9:05, Robert Colin will be with us from On Top of the World, Ocala's premier active adult community. Be sure to listen and be sure to call in. Speak with Robert to learn about all the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will have guests, and we're sure you will enjoy our little chat. You deserve the world, and we bring it to you. So be sure to tune in on the first and third Wednesdays of each month right here on The Source, WOCA.
Tired of looking at stained carpets, dirty tile, or grout? Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Make your flooring look great again. Stains, pet odors, allergies. Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. From serving our country to serving our community. Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Residential and commercial. Their work is guaranteed along with your satisfaction. Check their website, silverbackrestoration.com.
Thank you, Joe. 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Really nice-looking Thursday out there. Hope you're doing well. And it's the third day of May. Are you getting that spring fever thing? Are you starting to feel yourself wanting to do outdoorsy things? Mother's Day's coming up. Maybe you have an outdoorsy Mother's Day thing you want to do. How far away is Memorial Day? I guess it's still a little bit away. But anyway, when is Memorial Day, Rob? Is it the end of this month? Is that what it is? Oh, okay, so it's not that far away. But anyway, I think that spring fever thing is happening to me. I think I want to go outside somewhere.
It's Monday, the 28th of May.
Okay. Can we go outside and do this show?
Sure, why not?
Just take the microphones out there. I think Joe would mind. How would we do this? We have to have a long wire, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Well, we could put a hole in the wall.
Just kidding.
And just drag the microphone wire through it. We can make it small.
Oh, you got an update from the homeless pavilion. See, I wondered if we had this story wrong. So now we have a little note here. Okay, this is from, who's this from? Marion County Public Relations.
Yep, they didn't put their name on it. Usually the people do, but they did this one.
Thank you for handing it to me. Based on the reports regarding the proposed homeless pavilion in Ocala, the county would like to release the following statement, which means that maybe we got it wrong.
Yeah.
The homeless pavilion project was and is eligible for Marion County Community Development Block Grant funding. Okay, through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. However, the county did not have an opportunity to fully implement its project eligibility process and was unable to meet the city's project timeline while still complying with federal requirements. So
what does that really say?
Well, I think what it says is maybe we jumped the gun, us in the media. I don't know. Or maybe the city council did.
About the homeless pavilion?
Okay, so the story is there was going to be a homeless pavilion, and then maybe it still will be now based on this, right?
Interfaith.
Over by Interfaith. Part of it, I guess, was going to be paid with city money, and part of it was going to be paid with county money. But apparently the county wasn't ready yet. Maybe they didn't give it to them in time. I don't know. All I know is that one week it was voted unanimously by the city council, and the next week 50-50.
Yeah.
Remember that? I think, oh my gosh, Mary Sue Rich, is she the one who didn't show up?
I think so,
She wasn't there. And so,
she didn't want to vote.
So there was not an odd number of members voting, which means it was right down the middle.
Yeah.
2 and 2, I think, right? There's only 5 members, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so then it was not sure, what happens when there's a tie. I guess he had to wait to hear what she had to say. But the whole thing was if all of the expense is going to be put onto the city's shoulders, then they thought, well, this isn't going to work. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's like $80,000 a year to upkeep the thing, whatever. So, and then the mayor wasn't too happy with it. He felt like if it was over at Interfaith, it was going to put a bad mark on the city that's trying its hardest to get the downtown area to look pretty nice. That's a debate. I don't know the answer to that one. I really respect the mayor and his opinion, but I also think the Interfaith folks are doing an awesome job. So I don't know. I'm torn on that one. But anyway, so and I don't really see how it would affect the downtown area. It's kind of
because it's not in the downtown area.
It's sort of kind of
it's on the west side,
apart from it. Well,
yeah, it's not on the downtown.
Anyway, I mean, the whole thing. If you didn't hear what this was about, it was the place for homeless people to sit to eat. There were going to be picnic tables. That's, oh my gosh, that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
There were going to be showers there. It was going to be staffed, so it wasn't like you could just walk into a shower. It wasn't going to be tempting for somebody with perverted ideas, that kind of thing.
From 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and there was going to be an overhang, so if it rains, nobody will get wet.
Yeah, so I don't know. It sounded like a good idea to me. Somebody trying to get their life, somebody who's homeless, who's trying to get their life back in shape, needs a little help like that. And I'm really in favor of that kind of thing. I know nobody wants it in their own backyard, and I guess I don't blame you for that. But anyway, it's something we're thinking about. And I guess the bottom line here is that either we, in the news world, got the story wrong, or maybe it was just phrased wrong. I think the facts were still correct, though. Yeah.
So. I don't think we in the news media got it wrong, because the city and the county released an artist rendering of it. I saw it on TV 20. The TV 20 guys were down here.
No, I don't mean that part.
Interviewing people saying, yeah, this is happening and everything. So we didn't get it wrong in the media.
All right. I don't mean that part. I mean the second part that said it wasn't going to happen.
Oh, okay.
Because the second part said it's not going to happen because the county decided not to put the money into it. But this thing you just handed me says, wait a minute, we didn't even have enough time to do this all. So it sounds like people were too anxious or something.
Somebody dropped the ball about coordinating, I guess.
All right, let's see. Anything light in the news? I guess the lightest thing would be the Disney thing, huh? Toy Story Land will open up on June 30th, and they let reporters in yesterday to get a sneak peek at the thing. This is part of the Disney park called Hollywood Studios. So I guess you got roller coasters. It's like a theme park. It's the same thing, but it's Toy Story themed. So little kids, can have fun saying, "Oh my gosh, there's Buzz Lightyear." What's his name again? Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. Well, we had fun. You and I and Joe. We went through Toy Story Land, and we were shooting those things when we broadcasted there about 5 years ago, and then we rode those cars, and then you got to shoot things. That was part of the Toy.
That was Toy Story?
That was Toy Story the ride. So,
okay.
I mean, of course, it's not like it is now, really big and elaborate, but that was one section of Hollywood Studios.
Okay. See, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was fun.
I enjoyed shooting that stuff.
All right, let's see. As of Tuesday, all new cars sold in the United States are required to have backup cameras. How about that?
Nice.
Have you ever used a car with a backup camera?
No, but Shannon has one.
Yeah.
TJ has one, and it's so cool. I sit in the passenger side and I watch them, and it's just so neat.
So that's going to be a requirement from now on.
Okay. Well, get going, you manufacturers.
Members of the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs, Texas, the site of a deadly mass shooting last year, will join President Trump at the White House today to mark the National Day of Prayer. This is the National Day of Prayer, by the way, if you didn't know. Pastor Frank Pomeroy and his wife, Sherry, will lead a prayer at the event. 26 people were killed when a gunman, later identified as 26-year-old Devin Kelly, I shouldn't even say his name, opened fire in the church outside San Antonio. The Pomeroy's 14-year-old daughter, Annabelle, was among the victims. Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry.
For all the children that were lost and adults. I mean, they're somebody's child or somebody's parent.
People are unbelievable.
It's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Oh, this story is getting old. Arizona teachers are preparing for another walkout today.
Yeah. That's, get your act together now. You guys are hurting the students. You're not helping yourselves, you're hurting the students, so get your act together.
Speaking of raises, Marion County Fire Rescue will be getting a raise.
Oh, it's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
They're getting a pretty good one. I don't know if they agree with what I just said, but...
I hope so.
They're getting... All right, see if this sounds good to you. The report states that the proposed contract calls for... They have not voted on it yet, but they have agreed on it. Does that make sense? They haven't voted, but they've agreed.
Yeah.
So the report states that the proposed contract calls for an increase of $3.43 per hour.
Good for them.
$3.43.
At least that. Good for them.
That means they will be making $10,285 more per year than they're making right now.
Good.
Now that number right there is for the firefighter, paramedic, those with both the certifications, dual certified. Mm-hmm. However, those who are just certified as a paramedic get a $10,000 a year increase. That's only $285 less than the dual certified.
Okay, that's okay.
The beginning salary, starting pay for a dually certified paramedic / firefighter would be $50,015 a year.
Okay.
How's that sound to you?
I think that sounds okay.
All right. So
I
there you
think
go.
that sounds okay.
So we had this conversation several times, and people who've been guests have said Marion County trains firefighters so they can move to other counties.
And it's true.
I believe it's what happened with my nephew. I believe that's what he did. Maybe now he'll come back to work for Marion County. I don't know. He's been in Orlando now for a while.
Yeah, he has.
A man convicted of abducting, raping, and murdering an 8-year-old girl has been sentenced to death.
Thank God.
A judge issued the death sentence against 62-year-old Donald Smith weeks after a jury recommended unanimously that he be executed for his crimes. The little girl he killed was Cherish Periwinkle. His horrible act was in 2013. She was abducted from a Walmart in Jacksonville after this pig pretended to be friends with the girl's mother and then promised to buy cheeseburgers for her family.
My God.
Yesterday, there was a 66-year-old woman. I believe she was at the CVS pharmacy at the corner of Southeast 17th Street and Lake Weir Avenue. Does that sound right, Robin?
Yes.
She was there, 66-year-old lady, and she was approached by a 34-year-old man who forced her to give him the keys, and he took off with her car. He carjacked her car, in other words. And then, of course, police found him, chased him, and he ended up crashing into Dr. N.H. Jones Elementary School.
God.
Thankfully, no children, no teachers, nobody, except for he himself, the driver, was injured.
Thank God. Yeah, that's where a CVS is and Walgreens and Druid Hills United Methodist Church, right? 17th Street and Lake Weir Avenue.
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sounds
it, right
yeah.
on that corner. That's a busy corner. How did he get... Oh, she didn't lock her doors. Wow.
Well, no, if you're walking from the CVS to your car, you have to unlock your door to get back in.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So she wasn't stopped at a stoplight then. She was in the parking lot.
I think.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it to me. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's disgusting.
Hillsborough County has decided to make the waiting period to buy a gun 5 days instead of 3 days. Mm-hmm. They hope that it will stop people from buying guns just so they can do something that gives them a longer cooling off period, I guess. Some people say it doesn't make any sense because you can just go to the next county over where it's still 3 days. However, this is what Hillsborough County decided to do. I don't see why that should be such a big issue. I mean, if you really want a gun and you've got no bad intent for it, 5 days, what's the deal?
Sure, exactly.
You will be thanking Hillsborough County if you did have something bad in mind and then 5 days later you cool down. So,
Exactly.
let's see. What else do I have here? Scientists at the University of Missouri. All right. Scientists at the University of Missouri have said that a Viagra chocolate cocktail will help men better perform.
Ooh, well, you got chocolate in there. Of course.
Viagra is only an erectile stimulant. It is not an aphrodisiac. Oh my gosh.
And you'll throw the chocolate in there with a little bit of vodka, you're set.
Just get with a little vodka.
Yeah, I mean, Viagra chocolate cocktail.
Just because you look ready, you're not ready, apparently. This has never happened to me, I don't think. Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's nice you admit that. That's really good.
Oh, well, thank you. It's just like being in an elevator and not really wanting to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I need some stimulation to make me want to push that button. I'm in the elevator. The doors are closed. I don't really want to go up or down. Robin, that's crazy. Next story. Tesla Incorporated posted its worst ever quarterly loss and said its Model 3 production target remains on track, expecting about 5,000 vehicles per week in about 2 months.
Okay.
Tesla said it produced 2,270 Model 3s per week in the last week of April, up from 2,250 in the second week of the month. In order to achieve this production rate, Tesla plans to take additional days of downtime during the second quarter. I guess Tesla's not doing as well as they were hoping.
I guess not.
Rocky De La Fuente, a California businessman, qualified on Tuesday as a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate in Florida. Mm-hmm. He lives in California, but he wants to run for the Senate in Florida, up against you-know-who. Governor Scott. If Scott is... Scott is in the race.
Yeah.
In addition to running for the Senate in Florida, he's also running for the Senate in California. He's putting his name in two hats.
Gosh.
De La Fuente, Rocky De La Fuente, is a multimillionaire developer. He will face off against Governor Scott in the August 28th Republican primary. Mm-hmm. De La Fuente listed a California address on his Senate candidate oath and a Tampa, Florida address on the campaign check he used to pay his qualifying fee. In 2016, De La Fuente lost bids for two different offices while running as a member of two different parties.
Oh, my gosh.
Can I tell you the problem that we have in this job that Robin and I do?
Yes.
When a candidate pays for time to talk to us, and they only want us to either let them talk, in other words, no questions from us, or don't want us to ask any certain questions, and they'll do that sometimes. They'll say, don't ask this, this, and this. And they've paid for the time. We, as an obligation, we abide by that request because they've paid for the time.
Exactly.
I have forever worked hard to make sure you, the listener, know that Robin and I never want you to think that we think something that we don't think, if that makes sense. You might not agree with us, but we're going to be honest about what we think.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only thing we can do, really, in those circumstances is after the fact to say, we had an interview yesterday. I just want you to know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will never say I agree.
You're right.
I will never say I agree with the candidate who says something I disagree with if they've paid for the time. But because they've paid for the time, I will often just not say anything. Or I'll say, in a different interview, perhaps I could argue that one. But since you've paid for the time, I'll just let the listeners know at that moment this is a paid advertisement, which is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we get condemned for not asking hardball questions.
I think what we should do, I think what should be done, and I know. But I think what should be done, though, is that all political candidates should just buy time, be their own host. Don't even require us. Just ask me to push the button that says your mic is on, and then go for it. Mm-hmm. But to bring us into it is to piggyback on the trust that we've built. They didn't build the trust. We've built the trust. Mm-hmm. I know you've probably heard my fight against those people with that stupid Freedom Check ad, but I think they're done. Those people.
I hope so. They're ridiculous.
What else do we have here in the news, partner? Oh, this is an interesting one. So a lady had an issue with a tick, not a tick as far as like a bug, but I mean like a nervous tick.
Yes.
In her neck. Uh-huh. And doctors installed a brain implant that helped. This is in Slovenia. Mm-hmm. Okay. The woman noticed that her neck tremor had returned and wondered if the device had shut down. Mm-hmm. She went to the hospital the next day to have it reset. It was the first report of a brain implant being affected by, guess what? Lightning.
Oh, my gosh.
Doctors concluded, because she told them the story, apparently lightning hit near her apartment and it destroyed her TV and her air conditioner, and then apparently her brain implant.
Oh, my gosh.
Isn't that a fascinating story?
Wow. That's fascinating. That is cool. I like that.
She's in Slovenia, but more than 100,000 Americans use these things.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Isn't that something?
That is a fascinating story.
Don't come to Tampa. It's the lightning capital of the world, so.
Oh, I would imagine a lot of people in Tampa have those things.
Yeah.
I would think so. I don't know. Why did you laugh? Brain implant. Sports fans, be prepared. I'm about to read everything I'm about to say to you.
Okay.
Because I don't know how to do this one off the cuff. Sports fans will be glued to their TVs today with a jam-packed NBA and NHL playoff schedule. Following the Game 1 Eastern Conference semifinals thriller, the Toronto Raptors host the Cleveland Cavaliers in what USA Today sports writer Jeff Zilgit calls a must-win game for Drake's beloved NBA team.
Okay.
I just read that whole thing because I don't know how to talk sports.
Okay.
I'm not a sports guy.
And then you said NHL playoffs.
Did I say it wrong?
No, NHL play. Does that include the Tampa Lightning? Did they? I think they made it.
Oh my gosh! Do you know who you're asking?
I know, but you just read about the basketball.
I'm sorry. All right. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
National Hockey League. All
right, here we go. Meanwhile, in the NHL.
Yes.
Thank you. See, I don't even know. Mm-hmm. See, you know more about sports than I do. Meanwhile, in the NHL, tempers could flare up in the Washington Capitals Pittsburgh Penguins playoff series after Tom Wilson received a 3-game suspension for breaking Zach Aston Reese's jaw with a shoulder-to-head hit.
Okay. So the Penguins are in it. We still don't know about the Lightning.
No, but the Lightning will ruin your head transplant.
Exactly.
Good morning. Maybe that's what they meant. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, guys.
Hiya, Hugh.
You know, sports is such a unbelievable thing compared to what it used to be. Like, you got basketball, it's a winter sport, and they're playing basketball into June. Baseball is almost up to Christmas time, and so on and so forth. You know, and football is it ends in February now. It's because of the price of the athletes involved. It's almost a 12-month sport, all of them.
Yeah.
I know. I think that's disappointing.
It is. It's just too much, you know. And I think it's in time it's going to the general public's going to get tired of it, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we should do music in seasons too. Like country music should only be in the autumn.
You were mentioning last week that they're going to be building another hotel near 75 and 200.
They are already.
Yeah, it's almost done, I think.
Yeah, I'm just wondering now if there shouldn't be some kind of a limitation on how many hotels they can build in an area because of the fact that it might interfere with our hotel downtown.
Would that be fair?
I don't know. I mean, here we're going through all this stuff. They have this nice hotel in the square down there, and they keep building everything on 75 over there. And people are on their way to Disney and Busch Gardens and whatever, and they're just a quick stop before they get into those areas. They're never going to want to come to the downtown area because why? There's enough hotel space on 75.
I suppose the powers that be could say, okay, you kids, stop building hotels, but I don't think that would be constitutional. Although, I guess it is if you consider cities can say, this is not zoned for that. So, yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Another thing real quick, I just wish that that Marion Theater situation would just hang in a little bit and then just see what the effect of that hotel would do to that theater. It might bring it back to life.
How many times have you gone to that theater?
Oh, only a couple.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, and the problem, too, is all these people that pushed that Marion Theater for so many years that were on your radio station, how many times have they've gone? Probably none. You know, it's the same thing. So if everybody's kind of, it's a shame in a way. And I just hope that we don't let the Milwaukee Symphony, or not Milwaukee, but the Ocala Symphony Orchestra down either with attendance, because when I was there a couple last times, they're not filling the place up. It's kind of, I would say, becoming maybe old news, but it's people have to continue to support these things, otherwise they're going to be going away.
That's it. That is the secret to it. Absolutely. Yeah. You're right. Hey, thank you, Hugh. Let me squeeze in one more.
Ticket prices have a lot to do with it, too.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. Let me see. Speaking of sports, I noticed that you don't carry the NASCAR races anymore.
I didn't know that. I don't know. I have to ask Dan. It's hard for me to know everything we do here.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Have a good morning, everybody, and
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Hey, and by the way, speaking of sports and radio broadcasts, I'm not really sure if the Kentucky Derby is going to be aired or not, but if it is, we'll let you know, okay? Somebody had to call to ask me that.
Yeah, exactly.
I do know this, though, that if you want to sponsor, you can do that. So
that's right.
All right, we will be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump's new attorney, Rudy Giuliani, says the president personally repaid attorney Michael Cohen the hush money for porn star Stormy Daniels, but didn't know about specifics. As for whether the president will be giving an interview to special counsel Robert Mueller,
I would say right now the odds are he wouldn't be interviewed, but I don't close my mind to it.
He tells Fox's Sean Hannity there'd be a legal fight if Mueller tries to subpoena the president. A Puerto Rican National Guard C-130 transport plane that crashed in Georgia was more than 60 years old on its final flight to be retired in Arizona. All 9 people on board died.
There's actually video of the plane itself crashing just shortly after takeoff from Savannah Airport. You could see that giant plane pause in the sky, the nose dipped, and then it twirled. It hit the ground here. Locals said the noise was just thunderous, then a giant fireball, then black smoke.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Savannah. Fox News. We report, you decide.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms. Frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Here is your 1-minute news brief from The Source, WOCA. An Ocala man was arrested after police say he carjacked a 66-year-old woman's car, led police on a chase, and crashed the car into Dr. N.H. Jones Elementary School yesterday. None of the children or teachers were injured. An agreement has been made to raise the salary of firefighters and paramedics in Marion County. The proposed increase of $3.43 an hour equals $10,285 annually for dual-certified firefighter paramedics and $10,000 for single certified paramedics. Florida prisons are cutting mental health, substance abuse, and re-entry programs to help make up a $50 million shortfall. A man convicted of abducting, raping, and murdering an 8-year-old girl was sentenced to death yesterday. Hillsborough County officials have increased the waiting time to purchase a firearm to 5 days in that county, and reporters were given a preview of Toy Story Land at Disney's Hollywood Studios yesterday. The attraction will open on June 30th. And that is your news brief from The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Thursday, a nice day with sunshine. It'll become breezy in the afternoon. The high 79 at the coast, 86 inland. Partly cloudy Thursday night, low 58 to 62 in the coolest inland spots, 68 to 72 at the coast. Friday, partly sunny and warm, high 81 at the coast, 89 inland. Saturday, partly sunny, but watch out for a shower or two arriving in the afternoon over the interior. The high 82 at the coast, 88 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Sunday is Mother's Day.
Let Honey Baked Ham make this the best one ever.
Choose Mom's favorite yummy hams, beef pot roast,
barbecue, baby back ribs, turkey, heat and serve sides, appetizers, rolls,
and, of course, desserts. Everyone will enjoy this complete feast, and Mom won't have to lift a finger.
So right now, call 352-861-0011. That's 861-0011.
Or stop by 2709 Southwest 27th Avenue behind Best Buy. Mother's Day is the 13th, and it's time for Fafos Symphony Under the Stars at the Ocala Golf Club, 3130 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring your own food or buy from the vendors. Lots of new things like Kids Art Tent, the Face Painter, the Flower Vendor, fabulous music, and of course, fireworks. Adult advance tickets are $20 and $25 at the door. Children 17 and under are